Let's cut to the chase. Number 7. Forcing yourself to meditate. You've decided to finally get your life together. You download a meditation app, sit cross-legged, and close your eyes, ready for sweet, sweet zen. You're trying to de-stress. But 5 seconds in, your brain is throwing a rave party. You're thinking about that email you forgot to send, whether dogs have lips, and what you're going to have for lunch. You try to clear your mind, but the thoughts just get louder. This isn't your body finding its inner peace. This is your brain flagging this quiet time as a high-stakes performance review, and right now it's getting a big fat F. You're not relaxing. You're just getting a front-row seat to your own anxiety, with the added bonus of feeling like a failure for not being able to relax correctly. The underlying cause here is a fundamental misunderstanding of meditation. You've been told it's about having an empty mind, which is like telling a pilot to fly a plane by making the sky empty. It's impossible. Your brain's job is to think. So when you try to force it into silence, your nervous system doesn't see it as a calm activity. It sees it as a struggle, a fight you are destined to lose. That frustration you feel, that's a spike in your stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. Your attempt at de-stressing has literally become the source of your stress. Your body is now treating your 10-minute meditation session with the same biological panic as a looming work deadline. If you keep ignoring this signal, you're not just wasting time, you're actively training your brain to associate mindfulness with failure and anxiety. You'll begin to dread the very practice that's supposed to help you. Instead of a sanctuary, your meditation cushion becomes a little stage for your daily dose of self-criticism, making you more wound up than you were before you even started. Number 6. Your obsession with health research. You're just trying to be informed. You follow a dozen wellness gurus on social media, you read articles about the best time to drink water, and you know the dirty dozen list of produce by heart. You think you're building a library of knowledge to protect your health, but what you're actually doing is turning your brain into a paranoid, perpetually online conspiracy theorist. It's no longer just research. It's a constant, high-alert threat assessment for which there is no solution. One guru says coffee is a superfood. The next says it's toxic sludge. One article says kale is king. The next says its oxalates are destroying your gut. The serious cause behind this is something called information overload and its evil twin, analysis paralysis. Your brain isn't designed to process thousands of conflicting data points about survival every single day. It's like being a general with 1,000 spies all giving you different enemy locations at once. Your brain's response is to do what it's programmed to do in the face of an unsolvable threat: pump out a steady, low-grade drip of cortisol. This isn't the big panic spike of a sudden scare. It's a slow, chronic leak of stress that corrodes your system over time. Your desire for control has backfired, leaving your nervous system in a constant state of what if. Ignore this subtle hum of anxiety, and it will eventually cripple your decision-making. You'll find yourself standing in the grocery store, paralyzed with fear over which brand of almond milk is going to give you cancer. This condition can escalate into orthorexia, an unhealthy obsession with healthy eating, where your entire life revolves around a rigid set of food rules. Your quest for perfect health ends up destroying your mental health and making you scared of your own dinner plate. Number 5. Cutting out entire food groups. You've probably heard that carbs are the enemy, or that dietary fat makes you fat. So, in a blaze of disciplined glory, you've sworn them off. You're going full keto, or you've banished all oils from your kitchen. You feel virtuous, like you've cracked the code. But that afternoon brain fog, the irritability, and the obsessive thoughts about a piece of bread, that's not just a symptom of your heroic self-control. That's your body hitting the panic button and sending out a desperate SOS because you've just fired a crucial employee from your metabolic team without a 2-week notice. Here's the deal. Your brain, the supercomputer running your entire life, runs almost exclusively on glucose, which it gets most easily from carbohydrates. When you starve it of its primary fuel source, it doesn't just adapt quietly. It sends out stress signals. Your adrenal glands start pumping out cortisol to force your body to produce glucose through a much more stressful process. It's your body's version of breaking down the office furniture to keep the furnace running. That intense, almost primal craving you feel for a cookie isn't a moral failing. It's a biological scream for energy. You've put your body into a self-imposed famine, and it's reacting exactly as it should, by becoming obsessed with finding the scarce resource. If you keep ignoring your body's desperate memos, the consequences pile up. You're not just risking brain fog and a bad mood. You're setting yourself up for a massive binge-restrict cycle, where your willpower inevitably shatters and you find yourself face down in a box of donuts consumed by guilt. This creates a deeply unhealthy relationship with food, where you're locked in a constant war with your own biology, a war you will never, ever win. Number 4. Your religious intermittent fasting schedule. So you've joined the intermittent fasting club. You proudly skip breakfast, sip your black coffee, and don't let a single calorie pass your lips until precisely 1 p.m. You feel like a biohacking genius, mastering your hunger cues and turning your body into an efficient, fat-burning machine. But that feeling of being wired in the morning, the slight dizziness, and the growing impatience as the clock ticks towards your eating window, that's not your body entering a magical state of autophagy. That's your body's ancient survival programming screaming that there's a famine. Every single morning, you are sending a red alert to your nervous system that food is scarce and it's time to panic. The biological cause here is, once again, our old friend cortisol. For many people, especially those already dealing with life stress, prolonged daily fasting is interpreted by the body as another major threat. Your adrenal glands, which are basically your body's emergency first responders, flood your system with cortisol. Why? To break down your own muscle tissue and release stored sugar to keep your brain and body running during this perceived crisis. Your body thinks it's doing you a favor, keeping you alive until you can find food. It doesn't know you've got a fully stocked fridge waiting for you at 1:01 p.m. It just knows it's starving now. The consequence of ignoring this signal is the complete opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Instead of becoming a lean, efficient machine, the chronically high cortisol can tell your body to hold on to fat, especially around your abdomen. It can disrupt your sleep, mess with your hormones, and leave you feeling exhausted and irritable. You're trying to optimize your health, but you're actually just teaching your body to be in a constant state of emergency, making it better at storing fat and worse at everything else. Number 3. Waking up at 4 a.m. to grind. You've seen the motivational posts. All the successful CEOs wake up before the sun. So you set your alarm for an ungodly hour, determined to conquer the day before anyone else has had their coffee. You think you're gaining a competitive edge, but when you're on your third espresso by 9 a.m. just to function, that's not a sign of productivity. That's a warning light on your brain's dashboard, telling you that you're running on fumes. You're not hustling. You're voluntarily putting yourself into a state of chronic sleep deprivation, and your body is treating it as a low-grade crisis. The underlying mechanism here is a complete disrespect for your biology. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's a critical maintenance period. While you sleep, a process called the glymphatic system acts as your brain's cleanup crew, washing away metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day. When you cut sleep short, that crew goes on strike. Your cortisol levels skyrocket to keep you awake, your decision-making becomes impaired, and your emotional regulation goes out the window. That 4 a.m. workout or work session isn't giving you a head start. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of wet sand. If you keep this up, the consequences are severe. You're not actually more productive. Studies consistently show that sleep-deprived individuals take longer to complete tasks, make more errors, and have poorer memory recall. You're trading high-quality, efficient work for more hours of low-quality, sloppy work. You're essentially aging your brain faster and stressing your body out, all for the illusion of productivity peddled by people who probably go to bed at 8 p.m. Number 2. Obsessive calorie tracking. You're being diligent. Every almond, every spinach leaf, every gram of chicken is weighed, logged, and accounted for in your favorite app. You know your macros down to the decimal point. You think this precision is the key to achieving your physical goals. But the anxiety you feel when you eat at a restaurant with no nutritional information, the way you can't enjoy a slice of birthday cake without immediately calculating its damage, that's not discipline. That's your brain telling you it's buckling under the weight of being a full-time, unpaid, and incredibly neurotic food accountant. The serious cause is the immense cognitive load. You've turned eating, one of life's most fundamental and enjoyable activities, into a stressful math problem. This constant surveillance, calculation, and judgment creates a state of psychological rigidity. There is no room for spontaneity, for social connection over a shared meal, or for listening to what your body actually wants. Your brain is now running a background app of constant vigilance, which, you guessed it, contributes to chronic stress. It's like having a tiny, critical manager living in your head, tapping their foot every time you reach for something that isn't on their pre-approved spreadsheet. Ignore this, and you risk completely disconnecting from your body's innate wisdom. You'll forget what it feels like to be truly hungry or comfortably full. Food stops being about nourishment, energy, and pleasure, and becomes solely about data points and control. This is a fast track to disordered eating habits and can make you feel isolated, as your healthy routine is simply incompatible with the beautiful, messy, untrackable nature of a normal human life. Number 1. Daily high-intensity workouts. This is the holy grail of fitness, right? Go hard or go home. You're smashing a brutal HIIT session every single day, leaving you in a puddle of sweat. You're chasing that endorphin rush, believing that more pain equals more gain. But that persistent exhaustion, the nagging little injuries that won't heal, and the fact you're not getting any stronger? That's your body waving a giant white flag. You think you're in a training montage, but your nervous system is convinced it's in a horror movie being chased by an axe murderer every single day, without fail. The brutal truth is that exercise is a stressor. It's a good stressor, called eustress, when followed by adequate recovery. Recovery is when your body repairs the damage and adapts to become stronger. When you do high-intensity training every day, you never give your body that chance. You are living in a perpetually catabolic or breakdown state. Your cortisol levels remain chronically elevated to deal with the daily emergency, and chronically high cortisol is the arch nemesis of your fitness goals. It tells your body to break down energy-expensive muscle and to store energy as fat, particularly stubborn belly fat. The ultimate consequence is that your heroic efforts completely backfire. You stop making progress, you might get weaker, and you could even gain fat. You become more susceptible to getting sick because your immune system is suppressed by the constant stress. You're burning yourself out in the most literal sense, all in the name of a fitness philosophy that ignores the single most important part of getting stronger: rest. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.